Cities are so crowded that one incorrect step might send you into an intimidating labyrinth where the mob appears to go on forever, according to a new poll that has shocked people all around the world. These urban jungles, which range from the vast slums of Mumbai to the tall skyscrapers of Hong Kong that house millions of people, are more than simply statistics. They are tales of survival. Why do so many people live in these cities? What's the real life like behind the mayhem? Get ready for an exciting tour through 20 of the world's most densely inhabited locations. Number 20. Chikapa. Despite facing special difficulties, the city of Chikapa in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's Kasai region has grown rapidly in recent years. Chikapa is growing rapidly, with an expected population of over 1.13 million in 2024, having welcomed over 54,000 new residents since last year. It is presently home to around 29,800 inhabitants per square kilometer, over an area of 38 square kilometers. Since a Belgian-American mining partnership established Chikapa in the early 1900s, the city's history is intricately linked to diamond mining. Chikapa became an important city in the area once its diamonds were found, which caused it to flourish rapidly. But it has had a tough time of it because of the influx of people and the internal displacement caused by regional hostilities, especially the Congo Wars. Chikapa is still lacking in infrastructural development, even though it is rich in diamond resources. There are a lot of dirt roads and people don't have easy access to things like running water and power. The city of Chikapa, however, has shown remarkable resilience by growing and changing in response to its environment. Agriculture and diamond mining are the backbones of the economy, thanks to resourcefulness on the part of the local inhabitants. The Chikapa and Kasai rivers, which are important for transportation and supply of water, have a profound impact on daily life in Chikapa. The city's agriculture sector benefits from the city's tropical savanna environment, which has both rainy and dry seasons. Number 19. Levallois-Perret. Despite its tiny size, Levallois-Perret is everything from tranquil. It is located only a few kilometers from the center of Paris. There are over 63,000 people living in this tiny commune, which occupies just 2.4 square kilometers. With a population density of almost 27,000 people per square kilometer, it is one of the most densely inhabited cities in France and all of Europe. Here, space is precious. Levallois-Perret is a highly sought-after residential and business district due to its near proximity to Paris, which is just around 6 kilometers away. The town's growth started in the 19th century as a planned community. It expanded fast and became famous for businesses including automobile production and, curiously, the building of the iron framework of the Eiffel Tower. It has grown into one of Paris's most affluent neighborhoods, complete with immaculately kept parks and streets. Still, the city's typical problems, overcrowding, a lack of housing, increased living expenses, and heavy traffic, appear due to the density. Residents still have it good because to the great public services and easy access to everything the Paris has to offer. Number 18. Manila. The capital of the Philippines, Manila, challenges conventional ideas of space. Picture a location where more than 42,000 individuals call a 1 square kilometer expanse home. Yes, the very high population density of this city is immediately apparent as you enter its lively streets. The streets of Manila are always bustling with people going about their day. People cram into every possible space as jeepneys navigate congested roadways. There are more than 13 million people living in Metro Manila, which includes the city of Manila and its surrounding areas. The city itself is home to more than 1.7 million people. Many communities experience acute congestion as a result of this. The fact that Manila occupies such a tiny area, just around 42 square kilometers, only adds to the intensity. Just over 11,000 people live in New York City per square kilometer. Manila's population density is almost 4 times higher. Problems like traffic jams and housing shortages are inevitable outcomes of such high densities of people. More and more people are moving to the city in search of better economic prospects, which puts a strain on its infrastructure. In spite of all these difficulties, Manila is thriving. It is an intriguing area to visit because of its dynamic culture, tenacious people, and endless energy. This urban area exemplifies the human capacity for adaptation in the face of limited resources. Number 17. Pateros. Pateros is a municipality in the Philippines that has its own special allure and is situated in the middle of Metro Manila. It stands out for several reasons despite being the smallest in terms of geographical area and population inside the busy city. Pateros has a very high population density of nearly 37,000 people per square kilometer, despite its relatively small size of only around 1.7 square kilometers, which is home to more than 65,000 people. The tight-knit community is immediately apparent as you stroll through its small streets. The duck-raising business in Pateros is well known, but the local specialty balut, a fertilized duck egg sold on almost every corner, is even more well known. Compared to its bigger surrounding cities like Taguig and Pasig, Pateros stands out due to its unique combination of local traditions and the everyday activity of its closely packed streets. Despite its little stature, Pateros encounters several obstacles as a result of its density. Infrastructural constraints are common due to space constraints and the general overcrowding of Metro Manila. Despite this, the people of Pateros are strong and able to handle the stresses of city life while yet holding on to their traditions and sense of community. Number 16. Kathmandu. With a population density of more than 20,000 people per square kilometer, Kathmandu, the lively capital of Nepal, is situated in South Asia. Located in the Kathmandu Valley at an elevation of around 4,600 feet, it is the most populous city in the nation. With origins in the 2nd century AD, this city is among the world's oldest continually inhabited locations. It was formerly the residence of the royal family of Nepal, and the many palaces and residences there reflect that history. Even though it is located in the middle of the Himalayas, the cultural and economic center of Nepal, Kathmandu, is the biggest metro area in the region. The Kathmandu Valley is home to 7 sites that have been designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, making the city renowned. The most famous landmarks in Nepal include the ancient Durbar squares in Kathmandu, Patan, and Bhaktapur, as well as the Swayambhunath Stupa, often called the Monkey Temple. Tourists from all around the globe flock to these historic sites, boosting the local economy. The fusion of old and contemporary is what gives Kathmandu its real charisma. The city has made a concerted effort to preserve its cultural riches and rich past in the face of contemporary development. Number 15. Vijayawada. Situated on the banks of the Krishna River and bordered by the Indravati Hills, Vijayawada is a city that values space. The city is home to more than 2.2 million people, despite its relatively small territory of little more than 61 square kilometers. Vijayawada's astonishing population density, approximately 37,000 people per square kilometer, places it 3rd most densely inhabited metropolitan region in the world. Because of its importance as a commercial and educational center in Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada has seen rapid urbanization, leading to its very high density. Strategic positioning between large metropolitan areas and the city's cultural and religious significance have contributed to its expansion. The name Land of Victory comes from its name. Located on the Indravati Hills, the Kanaka Durga Temple welcomes thousands of worshippers every year, congested with more people than the city needs. Despite the impression that Vijayawada's low-rise buildings provide a more open urban scene, the city is really home to over 100 slums clustered around canals and a number of densely inhabited areas. The land is being used up to its utmost capacity. Not only are the statistics striking, but Vijayawada has also changed to meet the needs of its expanding population via initiatives like transit housing and ambitious plans for urban expansion. As a result of citizen feedback, the city is always adapting. Number 14. Dhaka. The Bangladeshi capital, Dhaka, is a vibrant metropolis where you can almost feel the energy of the people living there in every nook and cranny. With a population of more than 21 million, it is undoubtedly one of the world's most vibrant and fast-expanding metropolises. It is difficult to fathom the sheer number of people packed into Dhaka's narrow alleys unless you have been there yourself. The city has an astonishing population density of 47,400 people per square kilometer. Due to strong birth rates and urban migration, the city has grown rapidly. The city of Dhaka continues to see a population boom as people from all around Bangladesh move there in quest of better employment prospects. The population has grown tremendously since the 1950s, when it was only 336,000, reaching the tens of millions it is now. Everyday living in Dhaka is a delicate balancing act, brought forth by the problems posed by this fast urbanization. There is a lot of pressure on the city's infrastructure, from the congested Basta slums to the sewage system, which often fails during the monsoon rains. A prime illustration of how bewildering this density can be are the highways, which are jam-packed with thousands of vehicles, including 400,000 rickshaws. Notwithstanding these challenges, Dhaka continues to be the economic hub of Bangladesh, accounting for 40% of the GDP. It's a city of extremes. High-rises and informal communities coexist on the same streets, and there's both fast economic progress and widespread poverty. In Dhaka, between 300,000 and 400,000 people are living in abject poverty, with many without access to even the most basic utilities like running water and electricity. With a Muslim majority and smaller groups of Hindus, Christians, and Buddhists, Dhaka is a cultural and religious melting pot that welcomes people of all faiths and backgrounds. Number 13. Chennai. Situated on the coast of southern India, the bustling metropolis of Chennai is well known for its high population density, in addition to its famous monuments and cultural heritage. One of India's most densely populated cities, Chennai is home to more than 12 million people spread out across 426 square kilometers, or over 28,300 people per square kilometer. A city that is always alive and thriving is the result of this. The captivating blend of history and innovation that defines Chennai is a major factor fueling its fast population expansion. It is home to renowned temples like the Kapalishwarar Temple and is a significant hub for companies such as information technology. Regional residents have been drawn to the city due to its long history as a trading post and port. But there are difficulties associated with such a crowded population. Slum neighborhoods are home to about 29% of the city's population, which puts a strain on infrastructure and adds to the problem of overpopulation. Despite this, the city of Chennai has a stellar reputation for education, with a literacy rate of almost 90%. About 80% of the population follows Hinduism, and there are also sizable Muslim and Christian populations that contribute to the diverse cultural fabric of this city. The future looks bright for Chennai, with predictions showing the population might reach over 15 million by 2025. Number 12. Kolkata. Millions of people make their way through the congested streets of Kolkata, a city in eastern India. You can feel the vitality of this metropolis, which is home to more than 15 million people the second you step foot inside. The fact that so many people have found a way to coexist in such a little area, just 206 square kilometers, only adds to its uniqueness. About half the area of New York City, but with almost twice the density, is Kolkata, a city with about 22,000 inhabitants per square kilometer. The city is the beating center of West Bengal, and the streets are a kaleidoscope of activity with rickshaws, automobiles, and pedestrians navigating through cramped alleys. Markets teeming with shopping, street sellers peddling food, and people going about their everyday lives. It's hard to look far and see anything but liveliness. Kolkata, in spite of its extreme population density, has always managed to remain going. While newer neighborhoods like Rajarhat and Salt Lake City have sprung up to accommodate the city's expanding population, The historic core is just as bustling with activity as ever. Problems like traffic congestion, overburdened public services, and housing shortages are inevitable outcomes of this level of population density. Number 11. Mumbai. Constantly bustling with the energy of millions of people crammed into a relatively tiny space, Mumbai, India's financial capital, is a city that never sleeps. With a population of more than 21 million, the city is known as one of the world's biggest metropolitan centers. How such a huge population is managed within its constrained area of just 603 square kilometers is what genuinely intrigues me about Mumbai. Every square kilometer of the city is home to an average of 36,000 inhabitants. Because of this, there is a constant scarcity of space in an energetic yet concentrated setting. You will feel the pressure of crowding as you stroll through the busy streets and see the dynamic mix of culture, business, and history. Problems have arisen, particularly with housing, as a result of the city's enormous expansion throughout the last few decades. Slums are home to about half of Mumbai's population and are notoriously poor in providing even the most basic amenities, such as running water and electricity. The famed Bollywood film industry, prosperous enterprises, and rich cultural history of Mumbai ensure that the city-state continues to flourish as India's financial and entertainment hub despite these problems. Many people's hopes and aspirations come together in the metropolis. The city's infrastructure is under increasing pressure from its expanding population, but its inhabitants are creative problem solvers who are always thinking of new methods to keep up. Number 10. Montrouge. Despite their diminutive size, the 2.08 square kilometers of Montrouge, a commune just outside of Paris, are teeming with activity. With a population density of over 23,200 persons per square kilometer, this lively neighborhood is home to more than 48,900 inhabitants as of 2024. Within the Paris metropolitan region, Montrouge is among the most densely populated areas. Montrouge has evolved from a small religious community into a thriving contemporary metropolis, with its name coming from the town's reddish soil, meaning Red Mountain. It has evolved into a dynamic mix of commercial districts, residential areas, and public transportation nodes today. Near the heart of Paris, only a short metro journey away, you'll see streets crowded with skyscrapers, boutiques, and lively cafes. With its many parks and local markets, Montrouge manages to retain its lovely small-town character despite its heavy traffic. Number 9. Hong Kong. Among the most densely populated cities in the world, with its congested neighborhoods and non-stop traffic, making it an arduous place to call home. The population continues to rise, even though the birth rate is rather low at just 0.774 per woman. With almost 7 million people crammed into less than 25% of the region's developed metropolitan centers, the whole area comprises around 1,100 square kilometers. The majority of their population lives in skyscrapers. Actually, no other metropolis on Earth can match Hong Kong's number of skyscrapers. Surprisingly, for a city with such a dense population, Hong Kong has one of the world's longest life expectancies. Living here is easy and exciting because to the city's modern public transit infrastructure and its status as a world financial hub. In addition to its reputation as a financial center, Hong Kong is also a prominent cultural center and a place of great historical significance for the film industry. Although there are some disadvantages to living in a highly crowded location, the advantages of Hong Kong are indisputable. People still succeed in life and work in this city because of its world-class infrastructure and well-designed urban areas. Number 8. Baghdad. The population and complexity of Baghdad, Iraq's capital, are both increasing at a dizzying rate. Among the Middle Eastern cities with the highest population density, Baghdad is home to more than 9 million people. However, the remarkable aspect of this city is its ability to manage a high population while using its both old and contemporary infrastructure. Despite its historical importance, The city is now unable to meet the needs of its rapidly expanding population. It was established along the Tigris River. Congestion affects every facet of everyday life in Baghdad, as more than 4 million automobiles fill up the city's streets every day, surpassing the capacity of the roads. Even if new urban projects like tunnels and bridges are being built to alleviate this problem, many Baghdad residents still have to deal with the daily challenge of navigating the city's congested roadways. The high birth rate is the driving force behind the city's ever-increasing population. There will be an even greater demand on public services and housing if official projections of the population reach 11 million by 2030 are accurate. Plans for satellite towns around Baghdad are being developed to alleviate the congestion in order to tackle these concerns. In spite of everything, Baghdad is still a thriving cultural and commercial hub where ancient customs coexist with the needs of a contemporary city. Number 7. Port-au-Prince. Life is always on the go, and finding a place to stand is a challenge in Haiti's bustling metropolis, Port-au-Prince. The metropolitan region of Port-au-Prince was home to over 3.06 million people in 2024. Located on the Gulf of Gonave, this city serves as the economic and social hub of Haiti, drawing inhabitants from all corners of the nation. With almost 85,000 inhabitants per square kilometer, Port-au-Prince stands out as a very densely populated city. Living in close quarters, negotiating small streets, and enduring hectic marketplaces are all signs of endurance in Port-au-Prince's packed streets. There have been benefits and drawbacks to the city's fast population expansion throughout the years. In 1950, the population of Port-au-Prince was a meager 133,000. Since then, the city has grown tremendously. People are bustling around the city, and the marketplaces are at capacity. There are significant obstacles even if city living is so exciting. Due to the city's infrastructure's inability to meet the needs of its rapidly expanding population, housing is often in short supply. In example, many people living in the city's informal settlements do not have access to modern conveniences like running water and electricity. The resilience of Port-au-Prince and the tenacity of its street sellers show that the city's soul can still be seen in the midst of such hardship. Number 6. Saint-Just-Ten-Noode. Despite its little stature, the population of Saint-Just-Ten-Noode in the Brussels capital region is substantial, with more than 23,000 inhabitants per square kilometer. This municipality ranks as the most densely inhabited in all of Belgium. Despite its relatively small size of 1.1 square kilometers, just picture a whole city crammed into an area that wouldn't fit more than a single district in most other nations. Over the years, Saint-Just-Ten-Noode went from being a sleepy agricultural community on the outskirts of Brussels to a thriving metropolis. Over 60% of the population is foreign-born. Thus, there are a lot of different cultures represented. A vibrant international community has flourished in these cramped quarters, thanks to the influx of immigrants from all over the world. Despite its little size, Saint-Just-Ten-Noode is an important urban neighborhood in the Brussels region. Its streets feature a blend of the contemporary with the ancient, with some of the region's oldest structures tucked away among more recent construction. Despite its high population density, the region is a lively and energetic section of the city, reflecting the essence of Brussels with its strong feeling of community and dynamic environment. More than half of Saint-Just-Ten-Noode's 27,000 inhabitants are under the age of 40. Constantly changing with the broader Brussels area, it is a youthful, rapidly expanding town. Number 5. Male. A city that surprises no one is Male, the vibrant capital of the Maldives. With nearly 229,000 people calling it home, these tiny 8.3 square kilometers rank among the world's most densely inhabited areas. Just think about it. 280,000 people crammed into every square kilometer. From a mere 20,000 in the late 80s to more than 100,000 by the mid-2000s, this little island city's population has increased tremendously, particularly in the last few decades. Mail has grown by reclaiming land and by incorporating neighboring islands such as Hulhumal and Thilafushi. Despite its small size, Mail is the Maldives' administrative center, financial hub, and home to about a third of the country's population. There is very limited space for open areas on this heavily populated island due to the dense concentration of buildings. The city has come up with innovative ways to house its expanding population, and many people live in flats that are shared with extended families. In spite of all this, Mail is still the Maldives' political, economic, and cultural epicenter. The city is at risk from increasing sea levels due to its low height of just 2.4 meters above sea level and its closeness to the Indian Ocean. The locals, nevertheless, have shown remarkable fortitude in the face of adversity by continuing to prosper. Number 4. Kukan. Just north of Metro Manila is the heavily populated Philippine city of Kukan. Kukan is one of the world's most densely inhabited cities, with 1.5 million people calling it home. The city only occupies about 55 square kilometers, yet its population density is roughly 27,000 people per square kilometer. The city is so densely populated that it's difficult to fathom. The combination of residential, commercial, and industrial zones in Kukan is what drives the city's high population. Communities like Bagong Silang, which are located in North Kukan, have grown rapidly in recent years. Bagong Silang had more than 260,000 people living there until it was divided in 2024, making it the most populated barrio in the whole nation. While the city's high population density does bring certain problems, such congested housing and the need for improved infrastructure, it also gives it a lively character. The National Capital Region continues to rely on Kukan, even if the populace is in a tight position. Streets teeming with vendors and communities so close together make life here challenging, but the local festivals, shops, and schools help bring people together, creating a strong feeling of community. Number 3. Mandaluyong. Despite its relatively modest size, 11.26 square kilometers, the dense population of Mandaluyong more than makes up for it in this bustling metropolis located in the center of Metro Manila. With a population of about 425,000, Mandaluyong has a density of over 38,000 inhabitants per square kilometer. The fact that it is close to Ortigas Center and other important commercial areas makes it more busier. The city of Mandaluyong is always bustling with activity, thanks to its dense concentration of residential neighborhoods, high-rise buildings, and retail complexes. Every available area is used to its best, creating an atmosphere that is colorful yet packed. Originally a modest area, Mandaluyong has expanded greatly over the years to become a major business center. The city has become one of the Philippines' busiest spots, because it houses major firms and attracts thousands of workers every day. Despite its small geographical size, it is an important component of the country's economy. Being a member of Mandaluyong's vibrant, close-knit community also entails learning to navigate a metropolis where people are always on the go. Number 2. Banay Brak. Located not far from Tel Aviv, the lively city of Banay Brak packs an astonishing amount of activity into its compact layout. Banay Brak has one of Israel's highest population densities, with more than 26,000 people per square kilometer, despite its small size of 7.09 square kilometers, 2.74 square miles. The city is home to more than 218,000 people. Envision yourself strolling through streets that are lively at all hours of the day and night. The town of Banay Brak has a strong sense of religious and cultural identity due to its status as a Haredi Jewish hub. Despite the strain on housing and infrastructure, large families continue to drive the city's population increase. Strong bonds and perseverance characterize the community. Banay Brak has seen remarkable change from its founding in the early 1900s as an agricultural community. There were just 9,300 people living there in 1948, but that number has grown exponentially since then. People going about their everyday lives, as well as synagogues and stores, occupy its winding streets. There is a sense of history and culture in every nook and cranny of this city, yet there are also problems brought about by the fast expansion. Expanding housing and improving services are ongoing challenges for the city, which is also working hard to hold on to its rich history. Number 1. Mogadishu. The capital of Somalia, Mogadishu, is a vibrant metropolis that never sleeps. The capital of Somalia, Mogadishu, is home to more than 2.7 million people. The most startling aspect, however, is the extreme density of its population. There are more than 21,000 inhabitants per square kilometer in this metropolis that occupies about 127 square kilometers. With such a staggering number, Mogadishu may be considered one of the densest cities in all of Africa. There has been this density before. Migration, culture, and commerce have all centered on Mogadishu for a long time. After 2012, when the city's security situation improved enough to entice Somali expats to return and invest in its reconstruction, the city's population exploded. The city's expansion has been fueled by new developments and infrastructure improvements, as well as the return of many families, and there's no sign of it slowing down. Mogadishu is expected to see even more congestion by 2025, when the population is predicted to surpass 2.8 million. In spite of all the difficulties that come with living in such a densely populated area, the city shows no signs of slowing down. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.